Hey everybody, my name's Ed Trevors. My pronouns are he, him, and his. I'm an Anglican priest in the Diocese of Nova Scotia and Prince Edward Island. I get to serve in the beautiful, wonderful little town of Shelburne, Nova Scotia, in the awesome parish of Church Shelburne that sits on the ancestral and on the unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. I give thanks for you all every day. I thank God especially for everything that you share with me and teach me in your comments and in your emails. I am a fan of a fellow by the name of Robert Reich. Now, Robert Reich is an American economist and author. He was the Secretary of Labor in Bill Clinton's administration, and he's written many, many books. Check him out. But anyway, I was on his YouTube channel watching his videos one day, and he introduced me to another author by the name of Anand Giridharadas. And this fella, he wrote a book called Winners Take All. And after listening to them talk and go back and forth, I went out and I immediately bought the book. I desperately wanted to know more about what he was sharing. The book, in blatant laity, basic terms, speaks about who the agents of change in our society really are. Right? In particular, it explains that those people in power, those people of prestige, those people of wealth, those people of authority, we really can't count on them being the caretakers of change. We can't count on them to make the change that we all want to see happen in our community, in our world, because the system that we desperately want to see changed is at least in part responsible for them having what they have. And so it's not really in their best interest to actually change things. It's in their best interest to show us all the different things that they're doing to make us believe that they're interested in changing things. Now, I'm going to tell you straight up, I haven't read the entire book. The way my brain works is that as I read a book like this, which is incredibly thought-provoking, I read a chapter and then I walk away. And then I'll come back and I'll read a chapter and I'll walk away because I want to explore who I am in the context of what the author's saying. Now, I'm not a billionaire. I'm not a person of great power. I'm a priest. And in my parish, I am a person of authority. In the Anglican system, I'm called the rector. And rector, as far as I know, and maybe this is just because it's my favorite story, is Latin for ruler. But I am the one responsible for making decisions. Right? I'm the person in charge. I'm the CEO. Now, as the CEO, one of the things that I do is I look around and I look at the health of my particular organization. And my church, like many, many, many churches, I would suspect 99.9% of churches, we are about 40 years behind the times. Right? There are changes that we need to make right now today that we should have made 40 years ago as society changed, but we didn't. We just assumed the way we were doing things was the only way to do them, the only right way to do them. We assumed that society would change back and everybody would come flocking back into the church. I don't really know. So as I'm reading Mr. Giridharadas' book, and I am applying myself to the context of that, I ask myself, am I the person to lead change in this parish? Now think about that. I know you're all going, oh gosh, Ed, you're wonderful. You can lead change, but listen up. I exist within a system that people like me have built. And we built this system because it is comfortable. And if I change this system, I might not be comfortable. Would I be willing to see my salary reduced? Would I be willing to see my salary cut and have to take on a job while being a priest? Would I be willing to see the rectory sold, the place where I live? Right? Would I be willing to see our office administrator laid off and that work piled onto me? Would I be willing to stop doing the paperwork that I'm doing so that I can do other more effective real life ministry? Would I be willing to do more or less visitation? Would I be willing to spend more or less time on our Sunday services? Do you get what I'm saying? Right? Priests have a very particular way of understanding their job. And if we made those changes that we should have made 40 years ago, that means my job is going to change. Therefore, can a priest in the parish be an effective agent for change if they really enjoy the way the parish currently functions? Despite the fact that the way the parish currently functions means it's going to die. I'm not trying to bring you into parish politics with this talk. I swear, I just wanted to show you an example of how that book is actually speaking to me where I am in this particular context. Because what then it brings up for me is, okay, well, what about change? Right? Like we talk about Black Lives Matter. Okay, we talk about justice for all. We talk about equality. It's been mentioned in the comments section about a universal basic income. We've talked about all kinds of different things, universal health care. And the thing that pops into my brain is, okay, so for us to be effective allies for change, we need to be willing to let go of the way things are. Matthew 16, verses 24 and 25, whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me. Those are Jesus' words. Following Jesus is about bringing light and hope and love into the world. Again, it's about making the lives of our neighbors and our communities better. That's what following Jesus means. Right? It's through that belief in him that we choose to take up the mission of bringing God's kingdom into this world in such a way that it improves people's lives. And part of that, Jesus says, is we are going to have to deny ourselves. Now, my life may not be negatively impacted if we were to start treating everybody equally. My life may not be negatively impacted if we were to bring in a universal basic income. My life might not be negatively impacted if we did more for the poor or if we did more for the homeless. But for those changes to happen, I may have to let go of certain things in my life. I need to be willing to pay that price to go on that journey if I really truly see myself as an ally for change. The system that exists right now is at least partially responsible for me being where I am. I can look at that system and I see that system as something that is, as somebody once commented, working perfectly for the way things are. But it's wildly broken for the way things I want to be. Right. I, despite the fact that I am a beneficiary of said system, I need to be willing to see that system changed in massive ways. I don't really know to what extent my life or your life will change if these changes we profess to want to see actually come about. But if we are sincere, if we genuinely want to see changes come about that bring equality and justice and compassion, that brings about, an end to hunger, an end to homelessness, an end to people going without health insurance or health care, then I am certain it will require us to let go of the way things currently are in our life. We need to be willing, if we're going to be an ally to change, then we need to be willing to let go of some of those ways that this system has actually benefited us. Because where it benefits me, in some unknown, unforeseen, unexpected way, it may be costing someone else something. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you, and may you always know the peace of being in the Lord's presence. And I pray that as you and I work to bring about change in this world, that we will boldly and courageously be willing to let go of what was, no matter how comfortable it was, so that those who are vulnerable, those who have less, may have more. Amen.